Imagine making magic with Michael Jackson. Now, today's guest is someone I'm super excited to talk to. He's a legendary illusionist that made magic tricks happen, illusions happen for Michael Jackson on stage on some of his biggest tours. And he's going to talk to us not only about the work and collaboration that he did with Michael Jackson, but also about their 26-year friendship. I'm super excited today to welcome Franz Harary to the show today.
Hey, pleasure to be here, almost live in 3D.
I know. It's super nice to meet you, and thank you so much for your time today.
Of course. Look forward to it.
Yeah. So my audience is full of Michael Jackson fans like myself. Part of your career started off doing magic for Michael Jackson. So can you tell us about that?
Sure. So I was going to school. I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I thought I'm going to go to Broadway. I thought I'm going to be a musical theater star, singing, dancing, acting. So I had a scholarship with Eastern Michigan University, and I did a bunch of this stuff with University of Michigan. And so I am musical theater boy. But at the same time, when I was a kid, about 13 years old maybe, I got a magic set for my birthday, and I was quick to discover how powerful magic can be. Because suddenly, as a 13-year-old, I'm able to do stuff that my parents can't do, that my teachers can't do. So that's very empowering. I don't remember what you were like when you were 13, but I was a geek. And suddenly to be able to have this superpower, it's pretty amazing. And I found myself fascinated with not how the tricks work, but why they work, the psychology of it. And so I started analyzing them, very quickly inventing my own. But I'm still musical theater guy. So by the time I'm in high school and college, I'm now convincing like the head of the University of Michigan marching band to let me design magic for their halftime shows and the opera and the theater. And so I kind of taught myself to design big illusions for stadiums, for football stadiums. And in this case, I'm doing magic outside in the sun for an audience that does not want to see magic. They want to see a football game. So it's a hostile audience, but still I was able to kind of win them over right about that time. And again, it's so weird talking to you because you weren't even born during this time. Michael Jackson, and by the way, myself, like everybody, in the 80s, worshipped him. Yeah. I remember when the Thriller video came out, studying that, every frame of that, thinking, wow, someday it would be amazing to just even meet him. So about that time, he burns his hair on the Pepsi commercial, and they say the name of his attorney on Entertainment Tonight. So I write it down. Entertainment Tonight was an entertainment variety show. It might still be on, I'm not sure.
Yes.
I write down the name of the attorney, call him up. I remember I'm in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and this is California, so the whole 3-hour time difference, that was a pretty big deal for me. And I call up and I say, my name's Franz Harary. I'm a magician in Ann Arbor, and I do magic for halftime shows. And I know how to make the marching bands disappear, and I can do this for Michael. The guy goes, well, you don't want to talk to me. You need to talk to so-and-so. And he sends me, I think, to the record company. So I say the same thing, and they go, that's not me. You want to talk to manager. And they go, that's not me. You want to talk to production. And this went on and on until I talked to like 7 or 8 different people. By the time I'd gotten to the last person, I had my talk down. My name is Franz Harary. I'm an illusion designer specializing in stadium effects for outdoor, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
I had it down. So they go, all right, well, send a VHS video. So I send out the video. Within a week, I get a call from their production manager. And again, I'm 21 years old. So it's like, oh my God, I might as well have gotten a call from God, Within a couple of days, I remember I flew out to LA and I met Michael at Lion Share Studios on Sunset, April 1st, 1984.
Oh my gosh, down to the day.
Yeah, in the afternoon, like 2, 3 in the afternoon, it's right after lunch. And I am like, before this, all I'd ever done is birthday parties and bar mitzvahs and a lot of car dealership openings and stuff like that. I think the biggest thing I did was the opening of a Pizza Hut. So suddenly I'm in LA and I'm about to meet Michael Jackson. I remember in the studio and I'm hanging out there by myself for about half hour waiting for whoever to come. And I remember looking what I now know is a sound console. Back then, I had no idea. And there were little stickums. And one of the stickums said, "Call Mick." I go, I wonder what that is. And I realized in retrospect, that's got to be Mick Jagger, because that was before he shot the video Dancing in the Street. And all this stuff, I was just, it really was like being in Oz, you know? So I meet Michael. Almost immediately, we became friends because we're very, very similar age. So I gave him a bunch of ideas. And honestly, the ideas I gave him were terrible. If I look back today, I mean, I've done pretty well for myself in my illusions. You know, I've got lots of trophies that other people telling me I'm great.
Yeah.
But back then, I barely knew what I was doing, just barely. So I came up with this idea where he's going to float up in the air and disappear. So, okay, all right, let's do that. You know, so I, after that first meeting, I go back to Ann Arbor, but now I'm still at school. I'm in university. It's my last year. So I realized I'm never going to finish this. I basically gave up. I did 4 years. It would have been a 5-year degree. By the way, if you do what you love, forget about school, because eventually they'll give you a diploma anyway. So
I
got
love
my
that.
master's without ever graduating. So there's a lesson. Forget school, kids. Just do what you love. Just do what you love. So now I'm on tour with the Victory Tour, way out of my league. So I hire my then girlfriend to be my assistant and my best friend, and the three of us are going to produce this illusion using an effects builder in Los Angeles who's kind of famous. And I never met this guy, but I knew him, you know, a guy named John Gahn. And so I told Michael and his production manager, yes, I work with John Gahn. And they said, oh, well, we're very excited to hear that, even though I'd never met him before. So now once I got the gig, I have to call John Gahn and go, you don't know me, but I might have lied and said that we worked together. So he was pretty happy and kind of became my Yoda in this whole thing, guiding me through. So we do the Victory Tour. And the idea is that Michael's going to lie down on a table. Randy's going to cover him up. He's going to float up in the air, disappear. So we did it during rehearsals. And by the way, I'm just going to hit you with a bunch of stuff. You can ask questions if you want, but
I'm fast. I'm loving this. I continue. Please tell me, because
I'm just going to throw it all at you, and you can cut me off anytime you want.
Okay.
So we're in rehearsals, and again, I'm way out of my league, but everything is sort of barely going. And all the time I'm thinking, if even one thing goes wrong, I'm back to Michigan doing birthday parties and weddings, you know. So we're coming along, and by this time, Michael and I are friends. So I remember after one of the shows, I followed him, and Bill Bray was the security guard at the time. Bill and the guy with the top hat. I forgot the guy's name, but anyway, Bill Bray was the main guy, and we went to go see Gremlins at the big Manstein's movie theater, Gremlins back then in Hollywood.
Oh, we had to
to
the movies with Michael Jackson, like.
Yeah, so we had to sneak in before the movie, after the movie started, because everybody had already seen him. So the movie's about to start. We're just about to go into previews, and we sneak in the back, and Michael's got on his red shirt and his fedora, and I go, hey, Michael, you know, if you don't want to be noticed, maybe take off the fedora, you know?
And the red shirt. I feel like that was like his classic look back then.
Yeah, but the fans like it. So I think there was a little bit of, I don't want to be seen, but I do want to be seen. So and again, I'm just going to go off on a tangent here until you stop me.
Okay.
So we're about to watch the movie, and somebody gets up in front of the audience. It's Grauman's Chinese, so it's like 2,000 people, and starts doing stand-up comedy. Start doing like 5 minutes of stand-up comedy for the audience. And I thought to myself, I want to find this guy and tell him, you don't know this, but you just did your set for Michael Jackson. And to this day, this guy had no idea that ever happened. And so many experiences like that. I was there when he got his star on the Hollywood Hall of Fame, Walk of Fame. It was crazy. It was a mob scene. And I remember getting separated from the security team, and suddenly I'm on my own, and yet I'm deep in it. And it really was like, it was just out of control. It was like a civil disobedience almost,
It
you know?
looked very overwhelming. It's like, I don't know
It was
how
crazy.
Michael dealt
I
with
ended up
that every day.
constantly, and it made him extremely cautious to where, I mean, 26 years, I saw a whole arc of things. We can talk about some of that stuff, but I saw him become very paranoid and very cautious of everybody. You know,
Yeah.
we were on tour, we were in Atlanta, and a buddy of mine was doing a magic show, I think in Atlanta. And I said, "Hey, Michael, let's after the show, let's go see the show." And he goes, he was like dumbfounded. The idea of leaving the hotel to go out into the real world just wasn't in the mix. We were after about halfway into the tour, and it's still my thing. I get bored real quick, so maybe it's the ADHD. So about halfway through the tour, I realized by this time the magic community realized that there were illusions in the show, and so I become kind of a small town boy does good kind of thing. So all of the local magicians are now meeting me in every city we're going to. So I start going to magic shops and basically just buying magic from Michael. And so he just gave me like a couple $1,000 and go, "Hey, let's go buy some stuff." So after the show, we'd get together at his hotel, just play with magic. I remember Webster, I forgot the guy's name, the little kid.
Yes. Emmanuel Lewis.
Emmanuel Lewis he was there a lot, and a couple other kids. These are all famous stars that I remember. It's a problem. I meet people like stars and then I forget.
No, it's
So
okay. You've
we
met
did
so
that.
many people over the years. I can't imagine.
Yeah. So we did that a lot. Um, that actually continued on after the tour. Again, now we're friends. After the tour, this is later. This is like the late '80s. He buys Neverland Ranch. So he goes, "Hey, I wanna do magic at the ranch." So I rigged the whole place. Now, firstly, I helped design the theater. So the theater is filled with all kinds of magic tricked out devices.
Wow.
If you go, you can find an interview with Oprah Winfrey and Michael. They're sitting on his stage. Oprah is about that far away from sitting on a trap door. You can actually see the trap door in the stage. You can see the line. And if she had slid just a little bit further to the left, it would have been a.
Wow.
But the whole place was rigged like this, so he could make his friends and himself appear and disappear and float in the air. And I'm certain that whoever bought that property is still discovering this stuff, because I know that there's no way they could have known what they bought, because it's just in the architecture. All right, so let's go back to 1984, the Victory Tour.
Yes.
We're in rehearsals. In fact, one time during rehearsals, I remember something went wrong. There was like a sound problem or something, and he stops everything and he gets on the microphone and he goes, "Well, let me tell you. Look here, folks. Not too long ago, I saw a lot of really, really great resumes. Now, y'all better get your act together, or people are going to start to disappear." It's like, whoa, and everybody freaked out.
He laid the law down.
Yeah, oh yeah. So it was pretty hardcore, and everybody feared him. I didn't, because I was 21 and I didn't know that I should be afraid. Plus, it's Michael. We're hanging. We're going to see movies, so I wasn't afraid. But everybody else was kind of freaked out. So fast forward, it's now opening day. It's the afternoon of our first show at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, 1984, before we were born. And in the studio at Zoetrope Studios in LA, everything goes fine. So Michael lies down, we cover him up, he floats up, he disappears, everything's just fine. And again, in retrospect, terrible trick, because there's so much better stuff we could have done. But back then, 21-year-old me, that was about it for me. In any case, in Los Angeles, everything's working fine. Now we get to Arrowhead Stadium. It's outdoors. Cover him up, he floats up, and a gust of wind comes in, and he takes off. And he's flying around there like a kite. And I'm looking out in the audience, which is it's rehearsal, so it's only a bunch of security guards and attorneys and record company execs, and they all have their $1,000 suits on, and they're all white watching their billion-dollar investment fly out of control in the air. And I'm thinking, that's it. I'm going back to Michigan, and I am destined to do, fast food openings for the rest of my life. And so that was the first time in my life that I felt actual stress. I don't know if you've had that experience yet, but when your chest hurts, there's so much stress you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
breathe. It's the first time. And as being in show business, you learn to get comfortable with that feeling. But that was the first one. And so I said, okay, we got a problem here. What are we going to do? So I called up Randy, and basically we rehearsed that afternoon to where when Michael floated up, Randy never let go. So he's holding on to the, which made the trick even suckier. And I'd say I saw the video half a year ago. It's like, oh my God, it's so bad. It's embarrassing.
But it's funny you say that, because I was going to ask you, I actually have a video clip that I kind of spliced it up to make it like 60 seconds. Can we watch it?
So bad. It's so bad.
But I want to show people. I feel like it's...
Oh my God. So I just sort of got through that. And so I realized that, in fact, I recognized that it was not great. So immediately I went ahead and designed something new, and it took like the entire tour, because we're traveling around, to get that new illusion implemented, which finally got into the show in Los Angeles. So somewhere there's a video. And by the way, Michael documented everything he did. If we went, I'm pretty sure if we went to the shower, there was a documentary in there everywhere.
See,
and I learned that.
I keep hearing this, and I'm like, where's all the footage? It would be so cool to see that.
There's got to be thousands and thousands of hours. I've got some of it. The problem is Michael's gone, and so there's no way to verify that it was cleared. He goes, yeah, here, take the tape, help yourself, no problem. But now there's no way to prove it, So right. I don't know. You can't even put it out there anymore. I don't know. It's a weird situation, but I learned from him, document everything, so much that if it's not recorded, it almost didn't happen. It's a weird philosophy, but it's worked for me, All right. So now Victory Before finishes. After that, I keep working with him, design Neverland Ranch in 1990.
Okay.
I got a call on my phone on my answering machine, and I saved the recording I've got somewhere on a cassette. It's, hi, my name's Janet. You don't know me. My brother Michael told me to call you. I'm going out on tour, and I want to do some illusions. So please call me. Blah blah blah. Boom. So from there, I did the Rhythm Nation tour, and then everything after that, and this kind of relationship just kind of kept going. By the way, I would continue to design magic for him at Neverland Ranch. Like every 2 months, every 3 months, I'd come up with a new illusion, and I'd go overtake it and do it. And we'd play with it for a day or two, and he'd do it for his friends. And then I'd end up just taking it back. So
what do you think?
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, what do you think it was about magic and illusions that was interesting to Michael? I'm just curious.
It's an easy one. Easy. Firstly, Michael loved technology and always wanted to use tech to push forward his art. He was not afraid of technology. He saw it as a medium, which a lot of magicians are freaked out by that. I learned very, very early on, don't be afraid of technology, but rather embrace it. And that's sort of what I built my career on, because where other magicians are kind of freaked out by light and bright, I've learned to use LED. But that all came from working with Michael and to learn to grab onto the next thing and not be afraid of it. But with magic, you're able to do something that is impossible. You're able to create something that is outside of the laws of Newtonian physics and make it appear as though it's happening in real life. You can see it stereoscopically with your eyes. It's very, very powerful. And once you felt that, it's an addiction. It certainly is for me, because I've made my whole life out of it. But for Michael to be able to, he can sing and dance anywhere he wants, and beatbox. But now suddenly he can also float in the air anytime he wants.
Right.
It's the next dimension. It's as close as you get to really being Peter Pan.
Yeah. It's like
All tech.
otherworldly.
Yeah, it's all tech, and it's all this secret clockwork underbelly, but the final end result is to have actual Harry Potter like magical powers.
Now,
So
were there,
that, I think, that's what he grabbed onto,
got it. Were there any like tricks or illusions that he wanted to do, but they were just like too expensive or too like time consuming or just too
Really good question.
much?
Not too expensive. Too expensive. That's a weird thing, though. He never paid for anything. He always got someone else to pay for it. That's a weird thing. Money was never a problem, but sometimes, a couple times, what he wanted just technically wasn't feasible within the confines. This is stupid. I designed the theater, not realizing that I would be working in that theater. So it was basically designed for movies. There were two. There was the architect and me, and so the place was designed as a movie theater, which means there wasn't a lot of space backstage. Stupidly. So if I had known, I would have made it firstly a traditional theatrical proscenium theater, and secondly, but because of that, there's some stuff that he wanted to do. He wanted to fly around over the audience, and you just can't do it because there's not space for the machines. So and that happened a few times. So one time we're doing the history tour, and I go, "Hey, Mike, we want to. What do you want to do? What are we going to do?" And he goes, "Nah, I don't think we're going to do magic. Yeah, maybe not. Okay, fine, it's no problem. Life goes on." By this time, I'm working for Madonna and Prince and Alice Cooper and Earth, Wind and Fire and everybody, and New Edition, Bobby Brown. So my career is going quite well. Still hanging with Michael. And I wanted to do the history tour because it would have been cool, but didn't want to. Yeah, that's fine. So they're in rehearsals, and 6 days before they're about to go out, I get a call. I changed my mind. Let's do some magic. What? Okay, great. So I hop into my car, and I remember I drive over to his house in Encino on the street. It's
Havenhurst.
Say what?
Havenhurst, right?
Havenhurst. Oh my gosh, yes. Where, by the way, in the 80s, there used to always be a bunch of fans across the streets just hanging out, waiting to get a glimpse of him as he comes out. So I go to Havenhurst, and he's there. I have no idea what I'm going to pitch him. But as I'm driving there, I've got my little sketch pad, and I'm drawing pictures as I'm driving. So what I drew was not fantastically innovative, but I knew that I could build it in 4 days because we had 4 days to build it, a day to teach it, integrate it into the show, and 1 day to. So what it ended up being, and I saw you saw a little clip of it, is a thing that he called the spiker. It's basically this Iron Maiden thing. He transforms into a werewolf, then he gets put into the Iron Maiden and gets closed, and spikes go through. He disappears, reappears on the big arm, right?
Yes.
So every red light, I'm drawing pictures. By the time I got to Havenhurst, I said, "All right, Mike, here it is. What do you think?" "Okay, let's do it." "All right, great. I'd love to spend time, but I got to run over to the shop. We got to start working." So it's a boom, 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 as fast as we can get it in there. Put it in the show, and it works. It's a rock solid thing. It got a good reaction. It's again not anywhere near to my best stuff, but we built it in 4 days, and it works, and it was a thing. So the tour finished, and that was history tour, so it did all of Europe, and the tour finished, and I guess about a month or so later, I get a call from Michael, which by the way, early in our relationship, he used to call with a fake voice. "Hey, this is whoever." I don't forget the name he used to use. And I go, "What is it?" I hung up on him a bunch of times because I thought it was a crank call. And finally he goes, "No, don't hang up on me. It's Michael. Don't hang up." So that was the thing. I'm just all over the place. So you can cut all this together. It'll make sense.
Yeah. This is great.
About a month later, I get a call. "Hey, it's Michael." He goes, "I got something for you." And shortly after that, a truck pulls up to my house in Hollywood. And inside it is that spiker that he used for the history tour. And he goes, "Hey, I want you to take it, put it into your show, keep our magic alive." And so I put it into my show for many, many years. And it went well. And then, I got bored. So I took it out and went on to other things. Then when he died, I put it back into the show and kind of did this whole little like 10-minute memorial thing to him. And I still do it in the show. Actually, it's a really good one.
I want to show, before we continue, I just want to show a clip because I think it'd be fun to watch it together and then kind of get your live reaction to it.
Yeah. You'll have to play Thriller without getting in trouble?
Well, I might have to mute it later on, but we'll see. I'm going to try.
All right. Just pop it over. It's weird. It's one of the greatest grooves of all time ever.
I know, right? So legendary. Wow.
So here's a little story.
Okay.
When Michael did it, there were 4 safeties. So without giving you the secret, obviously he's got to go somewhere because you're not really stabbing him.
Right.
So there were 4 different safeties that he would have to trigger so that the dancers were 100% certain that he was gone and it was safe to jam the spikes through, right? When I did it, I freaking designed the thing. So I go, oh my God, I'm not going to do all 4 safeties. I'll just do 3. And then after a year or so, it's just 2. And then it goes down to just 1 safety. And finally, there's just no safety. We're just freaking doing it, right? So I'm in Abu Dhabi and I get into the thing. And the guys are just a little bit early. And I'm still in it. So they jam it into me. And one of the spikes, the longest spike, hits my hand. And it pops through my hand and it pushes my hand back, but it can't go all the way because there's flesh. So they pull it back, get a running start and do it again. Pop, pop, and push it all the way through my hand. And so now I'm looking at this and blood is running down my hand. I say, oh my God, this is happening. This is surreal. And I'm screaming and the guys just think, my techs think, oh, okay, well, he's added a thing. He's going to scream now. Okay, why not? Oh. They had no idea what's going on. So they pull it out. I finally get out of the way so that I'm free and clear. And we finish the illusion. The trick is done. It gets rolled off on stage. I'm now covered in my own blood and sweat and also ashes because when the thing blows up, there's all this fire.
Oh, so my gosh.
There's charcoal over me. And having learned from Michael, my first words were, where's the cameraman? Where's the documentary? Where's Chris? Because if I'm going to die, if I'm going to black out, whatever's going to happen here, at least you better be freaking videoing it to make it worth it. So if you go on YouTube, Franz Harary YouTube, Michael Jackson Spiker or Accident, something like that, we shot a whole little 8-minute thing about me getting lanced in Abu Dhabi. Jackson Spiker. So it's all there. It was so gross I had to make it black and white because I didn't want to show all the blood and everything.
Right. Now I'm so curious. I'm like, I have to go and watch that.
Yeah, YouTube. In fact, kids, if you're out there, go to Franz Harary YouTube, go to my website, franzharary.com, all that,
Yeah.
I should have freaking worn a shirt that says Franz Harary.
I know. I wanted to ask you too, because I know that we talked a little bit about like touring and rehearsals and stuff. There's this video online and I want to ask you about it. This is like a short rehearsal clip. It's from like a news segment, I think. And I want to know if you could tell me like what was going on here. So sure. Here it is.
This is fun. I know exactly what's going on there. Exactly. So this was Los Angeles, Dodger Stadium, and there's me. And we were rehearsing the new illusion that took the entire tour to put.
Sorry, say that one more time. You were rehearsing the illusion?
Okay, so this was in Los Angeles.
Okay.
You found that footage. In Los Angeles, And we were putting the new illusion into the show that took me an entire tour to build and get implemented into the show. Because once the show is up, nobody wants to deal with anything new. You don't want to change anything. You just want to freaking do it. But I kept pushing and pushing, and Michael kept pushing, and so we got it in. So we're rehearsing the new trick. He leans over to me and says, "Hey, oh, you know what? It can't be LA. It's got to be the city before LA." So the city before LA, we did this.
Okay.
Because he leans over to me and he says, "Hey, remember when we get to LA, I want to do that tiger thing." I go, "All right, no problem." So here's another little story. In Los Angeles, before I got to Los Angeles, so remember I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, there was a guy who had a car dealership, I think a used car dealership, who used to ride a tiger in the parking lot of the car dealership. I haven't seen it, but I heard about it. I remember he had a big
Who is
cowboy
it?
hat. None of this matters. So
Cal Worthington?
Cal Worthington. There
Solomon
you go.
just helped us out.
Cal
He remembers.
Worthington. I'm Cal Worthington. And this is my dog Spot. And he used to have, sometimes he'd have a dog, and sometimes he had a zebra or an elephant. And one time he's riding a tiger. I'm Cal Worthington, and this is my dog Spot. So he goes, "Hey, when we get to LA, I want to do that thing like Cal Worthington. I want to do the tiger thing." I go, "All right, no problem." So I tell the stage manager for the Victory Tour, "Hey, Michael says that he wants to ride on a tiger when we get to LA. It's no big deal. Michael and I are friends. We're talking all the time." Well, the can we swear on your show here?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, the shit hit the fan because the production manager goes, "Why the fuck is the artist talking to you, the magician? Motherfucker, why isn't he talking to me? What the fuck do you think you're doing?" And he went off on me. It's like, me, by this time I'm 22, but I had no idea. What did I do wrong? It's
Right.
Michael told me he wants to do a tiger. So all the production managers went ballistic on me because Michael talked to me and they didn't go to the production manager or the stage manager. So then that changed into, I got a call from somebody in the record company that said, "Hey, we don't want you talking to Michael," because they were afraid that I was going to put ideas into his mind that were going to cost the record company money.
Oh.
"Hey, wouldn't it be cool if you come in on a helicopter or whatever, suddenly the record company going to spend money." And this has happened a few other times. What has happened in my career, because of who I am and what I do, I become friends with the artists pretty quickly. And in that there's a much between me and the artist than there is most often between the artist and anybody else. So I found myself in that position many, many, many times. And in Japan, I was working with, I've never talked to anybody about this stuff. There's a pop artist called Ayumi Hamazaki. And again, I got a call from the record company that says no more communication with the artist. So, "Hey, tell her, don't tell me."
Wow.
It's not my, tell her. This happens all the time. Let me jump over to something that's kind of a key thing, at least in my life.
Yes.
So this is like 1986, beginning of 87. Around this time, I was doing all the magic with Kool and the Gang. I was touring around with them. By the way, Paula Abdul was their choreographer. So
Wow.
while they were doing their concert, me and Paula were hanging out, because what else are we going to do? I'm the magic guy. She's the choreographer. We're bored. So I learned how to snake, and so that's all going on. And about that time, I'm hanging out with Michael. This is right after Kool and the Gang. And he goes, "Franz, so you're making all this stuff for me, but don't you miss doing it yourself?" And the truth of the matter is, yeah, I did. Because it's a very different experience designing and creating, which is very, very rewarding. Creating something that didn't exist before, putting it out there and watching it affect people, you're doing it. What you're doing with your show, hopefully you get response and comments. You can see the effect that you have on people.
Yeah.
It is arguably the most rewarding thing that you can do with your life. It's like why we're here, right? So that's all cool. but it's different than being on stage and doing it yourself. And I really was missing that. And so I took everything that I had learned from him, basically show production, sound, lights, staging. This is before video, but everything else. And I used those production philosophies to put together the first ever illusion show that looked like a pop concert. So you can Google me. I had the big giant Bon Jovi hair and the mustache and the leather and the metal jacket and the rubber t-shirt. And
I saw a picture on your Instagram. It was great.
I would not leave the house unless I was fully decked out. You know? I remember in 1987, 88, there was a picture of me floating Michael that ended up on the cover of the National Enquirer. And
Wait,
so I remember.
Let me see. Is it this picture? Let's see.
Yeah. No, that's in the workshop. That's just us hanging in the workshop. There you are.
Is it this one?
A rehearsal picture. It's one of those.
Okay.
It's like a rehearsal shot. So by the way, there's a mistake because the shirt I'm wearing, you see those two white wings on the shirt I'm wearing?
Yes.
That was the style at the time, but in retrospect, it looks like it's sort of holding him up. It looks like one of those, drum major things holding up a drum. That was a stupid mistake on my part. But again, I'm 21 years old. I didn't know. I was terrible. I was a terrible illusion designer, but I shouldn't have been there. So so I used to go to the 7-Eleven when that came out, and I used to get completely dressed up like my image standing at the 7-Eleven waiting to be recognized. And I never got recognized. It is so sad.
Oh.
But back to, I took everything that I learned from Michael and used that to produce an illusion show, where half of the show was dance, half was magic. Big mistake, because people who go to see a dance show don't want to see magic, and audiences that want to see a magic show don't want to see a dance show. So I couldn't market it. Big mistake, but I learned. And I found that kind of sweet spot to where now the show just ended up looking like a pop concert, but it was a magic show. And that I continue to do really to this day as I mature and as I become older, that iconology changes and that imagery changes, but my show is still very contemporary and still feels like a pop concert. So
Yes.
that I learned from Michael. And he said something that it has become my mantra. I live with this every day of my life, and you should too. He said, Franz, whatever you do it different and better than anybody before you. Live with that. I certainly have, and it's worked for me. And that was a huge takeaway. Do it different and better than anybody before. Whatever that is, and whatever scale, whatever you're doing. All right, so I'm going to stop talking and let's go to questions.
Yeah. No, I mean, this was great. It's funny because you've covered so many of the questions that I had. I did want to ask you, were you actually touring with Michael on both the Victory Tour and the History Tour? Like, did you go to all of the stops?
So Victory Tour, I was not only touring with him, I was there with him. I was at his hotel. I was where I shouldn't have been because we were friends.
That's so cool.
After about halfway through Victory Tour, we're now friends and we're doing magic after the shows. Many times, this is remains one of the most surreal experiences of my life to this day. After the show is done, as soon as the show is done, he would be whisked away into a big black van. It was him and his costumer, Janet Henry, and a security guard and the driver. And we would take off to the hotel as fast as possible before the audience realized the show was over. Because they would have fireworks going for about another 3, 4, 5 minutes. And then house lights come up and then the audience leaves. By that time, we were gone away from the stadium, about 2 miles from the stadium. One of the weirdest things that I've experienced was in the distance, listening to anywhere from 50 to 70,000 people screaming, which in the 80s, that was a big concert. I mean,
Right.
Taylor Swift beat that and has Beyonce. But back then, 60,000 people was a lot of people. So to hear that crowd screaming, going crazy to see, the light show happening, to see the fireworks happening, as they believe that they are watching Michael, when in actuality, we're in a van that's completely quiet. And the only thing you hear is Michael with his towel wiping down his sweat. And he's got whatever he was drinking, Gatorade or water or something. And it's very quiet. It's like, okay, that was pretty good. All right, Franz, what do you got? You got some cool stuff for us? What are we going to? And it was flipped. A complete change in energy. It was two different worlds going on at the same time. Very, very surreal, So we get to the hotel, he'd take a shower, I'd watch TV, I'd order room service, he had whatever, I don't know where he get a cook with him. And then we play with magic tricks that I got at whatever magic shop from that particular city. So I was on the whole tour from the beginning to the end.
Wow.
History was different. By the time history was happening, I was deep into my career. I am and still am the guy who designs illusions for concerts and big shows. So by that time, this was 96. I just finished TLC, Boys to Men. That was 95. So I was in it. So I couldn't afford to go out and be the magic technician as I had done 12 years earlier.
Right. You couldn't be gone for a year and a half or however. Yeah. Even half a year would be a long time, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It kind of worked out because I had 6 days to build the thing. We stuck it into the show, sent it off on a big Antonov, which is the big Russian airplane, big night plane that I think has been bombed. I think it's been destroyed, which is a bummer.
Oh.
And then we landed in Prague, in Czech Republic. And so I was there for the first show in Prague and I launched it. And then my assistants went on for the rest of the tour, but I had to come back to LA and do my thing.
I was going to ask you, did you ever see any of these illusions that you did for Michael from the audience standpoint?
Of course, you have to. You have to, absolutely. If you are a music producer, you have to listen to the music that you're producing. If you are a fine artist, you have to look at the painting that you're painting in the right art, in the right. What I do, my product is an endorphin rush in the brains of my audience. So I need to experience that as the audience would experience it, so that I can tweak and adjust what's happening on stage to get the create reaction, the right reaction in the predominantly the left side of their brains. So it is all about creating it and then being in the audience and then adjusting it and fine tuning it. That's why I say it is one of the most rewarding things in the world to be in the audience, surrounded by tens of thousands of people who are tripping out at something that you drew on a piece of paper. It's very, very rewarding. So, all right. So, big closing question, big epiphany. What can I tell you?
Yes. I just want to know, because as a Michael Jackson fan, we've grown up listening to his music and watching his interviews, and you were friends with him for 26 years. So what do you think, and I'm not talking about the general public, but what do you think the biggest misconception about Michael Jackson is that fans have?
Michael was an absolute perfectionist. Most of what he did, he was not the originator. He would see someone else do it, and then he would bump it up to take it to the next level. And in doing that, he was an absolute perfectionist, always looking for excellence. Unfortunately, I'm in my home in Florida. If I were in LA, I could run over to the closet and show you. I have a Thriller jacket that he gave me. On the inside, he says, "To Franz the Great, always keep reaching for excellence. Land, 1999." Which I go, "Michael, why 1999?" He goes, "Something about Jehovah's Witnesses, that's when the world is going to end."
Oh, yes.
Well,
okay.
Hope you're wrong. I hope that's wrong, but thanks for the jacket,
Right.
So it was that always keep reaching for excellence. And that was really what he was about. Back to whatever you do it different and better than anyone before you.
Oh, I love that. You can answer it in one word or one sentence. What was your fondest memory of being friends with and collaborating with Michael Jackson over the 26 years?
Fondest memory? Sure. Oh, yeah. That's a good question. I've done like 100 of these interviews. No one's ever asked that.
Oh, yay. Okay.
Fondest memory? That's a really, really good question.
I know there must be a lot, but
Oh,
I
my
can say one of.
God. We did a show. So at one time, he calls me up and says, "Hey, I want you to do your show in our theater." It's like in 2 or 3 days. So I called up my core people. My show's big. It's 38 people. So I go, all right. So I call up everybody. You want to do it? Yeah, we're all going to do it. So we ended up with like 30 people all went to do a show at his theater. And Michael's hanging out there. And I had a python, a pet python for 33 years with me. Giant python.
Wow.
That I used to make that. And Michael had a python. So we're both snake guys, you know? And after the show, so remember during the show, I used a lot of Michael's music in the show. I still do actually. And so during the show, he's like jamming to his own music, you know, which is kind of fun to watch him getting down to his, his own groove. After the show, Whitney, we were playing with her and somebody didn't pay attention and she took off and got tangled underneath the chairs of the theater. And now Michael and I, who are both snake experts, are trying to untangle my python. And I had not been married yet, but by that time I knew my wife for like 2 years. Now we've been together for 32 years. But so I hadn't been married yet, but I introduced her as my fiance. And he goes, "What? You're getting married? What? No, what?" And he goes to my wife, "Are you sure about that? Are you sure? Are you sure?" So it was, and I think it was just hanging out and then going onto all the carnival rides and, just being able to share with all of my friends this world that I had gotten to know and to a degree taken for granted, because if something becomes part of your life, you forget that it's special, but to be able to see the joy in all of my friends that was created by them getting to at least sample the world that I play in every day. And to this day, because of Michael, I can say, and this sounds like such BS, that the most average day for me is most often the equivalent of the most exciting day for normal people. And I never forget that. I make sure I always remember that, because of that, I get to travel around the planet constantly. And every time I'm on a plane, I look at the other people. I look at an old couple sitting across from me and think they've probably spent their whole life saving so that they can be on this plane to travel where I'm going, and I'm being paid to do it.
Yeah.
So the life that I have is because of what I learned from Michael, and that is something that I will always appreciate. He formed who I am as an artist, and I will never forget that.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been an amazing conversation. I learned so much, and I hope you enjoyed looking back at some of those clips.
Questions? Yeah, you gave me questions I have not heard before. That's pretty good.
Yay! I feel proud of myself. That always makes me happy.
FranzHarary.com. Hey, look right there. It's on the screen. FranzHarary.com right there. Go to my website on Facebook, Instagram, and it's filled with more Michael Jackson stuff and all like that there.
Yes, we'll have everybody check it out. And do you have a show coming up that people can go see? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'll show you something that I did. This is like the first trick that I ever did for Michael that I've been doing since I was like doing birthday parties. We're going to do it together.
Okay.
Put your hands up right here. Put your hands up. All right. Okay. Bring your thumbs down. Thumbs down. Okay. You do this at home too, watching this home. Cross one hand over the other. Interlock your fingers. Okay. I can't see on the screen. Are your fingers interlocked?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now move your pinkies.
Okay.
Right? Now with me, very slowly, bring your thumbs up, 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 up,
I'm like, where am I going? I think I'm doing this wrong. Hold on.
Hands together,
Okay.
slowly pull your hands apart. Rewind the video. You'll figure it out.
I know. I'm like, I got to practice that again.
It happens in your mind. It's all psychology. You'll figure it out.
I love that. Well, thank you. I can't wait to rewatch this and to share this with everyone. I'll put your website here and your Instagram as well.
There it is again. Look at it, FranzHarary.com. It's weird. It just keeps popping up.
It's like magic.
It really is. All right. At the count of 3, we're going to make this video disappear. All right?
All right.
Both screens are going to disappear. We're going to snap our fingers. It's going to disappear. You ready? Count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right, you guys. So that was our amazing conversation with Franz Harary. I'm just blown away by all of the fun stories and the memories that he shared. Leave a comment down below. Did you go see the Victory Tour? Did you go see the History Tour? Did you see those illusions live on stage? What other things did you learn from Franz? Definitely check out his website for more information and where to check his next show out. And until next time, make sure that you're subscribing on Patreon because that's where you get the ad-free early drop of all episodes. They also get the uncut, unedited versions of all the conversations so you can see what might have hit the editing floor. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. And we're almost at 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I hope we can make it by the end of the summer. Let's see if we can make it happen. Talk to you guys next time. Bye.